Okay guys, this is Itsu again. Just a few things concerning the measurements of my multiplication of my channels. I thought I made some clear points about where the 0 point should be, but obviously it was not clear enough. I put now my scopes on two AA batteries, 1.5 volts each, to see if I really have problems with the multiplication factor that is out of line. But I have both 1.5 on channel 1 and the other one is 1.55 on channel 2, both on main. I have the scope on 1 volt per division, and you can see it's almost 1.5 volt. I've put them in the middle of the screen, and I will now activate the mat menu again, the times channel 1 times channel 2. You can see again that in the middle there is the green marker, and here above is a green line, meaning that the multiplication is again out of focus, while I should have 1.5 times 1.5 should be something like 1.9, so it should be somewhere here. And that's the strange thing, that it's not there. 1.5 times 1.5, I should have something like 2.25 volts as a multiplication of these two, which should be here somewhere. But it's way up, so I have to crank down again to 5 volts per division. And then you see that I have the multiplication bar here, which is supposed to be 5, 10, something like 12 volts, but that cannot be. So I'm still a little bit puzzled about this multiplication. It does not add up, obviously, because it's a multiplication. But what I found out is that when you move the red probe one position above and the yellow probe one division below the middle line, again the middle line, the green marker is in the middle line, and I still have the same output there. I can continue to do that. So I understand that the middle line, the 0 line, is for the green marker for the multiplication is in the middle, and you can vary the both offsets, the yellow and the red probe, according to, because you want to have two sine waves and to add it up in the middle. So that's how I understand this thing should work. Only the values I don't understand. It could be that this multiplication is using still the 1 volt per division, but it's nowhere mentioned, and then it's about right. It's 1, 2, 225, so then it's okay, but I don't think that can be the case. So I'm still a little bit puzzled about this, and I don't think I can use it because it's not clear to me. Okay, hope that explains some more about this specific channel setup of my scope. Okay, welcome back. Another testing about the filtering I was applying to my batteries to get rid of the noise on the scope. I used several chokes I have laying around, most salvaged from some power supplies. I use this one with this as data. I had some bigger ones and also these toroid like things I used, but they all show the same effect, that when I put them in between the plus and the minus, I cannot get my my oscillator to start working. So I made a little setup again here with my two batteries in series. I hooked up my yellow probe across the voltage, 25 volts something should it be. And I have the other probe, the red probe, across the circuit. And I will measure the difference now on the scope between the two when just connecting the two wires without anything in between, and when I put in some shocks and see the result, what I get on the screen. Okay, I have hooked up now directly the plus and the minus to the connection lead to the card catcher, and it's working now. I see some blue streamer coming out of the top. And on the scope shot I have this oscillation. I have 10 volts per division on the yellow probe across the batteries. So I have again here this ripple of almost 10 volts peak to peak. That's also what shows here. And I have an even bigger ripple across the screen directly attached to the coil, but that's obviously. So there is some damping across the leads, but you see it still works, and I have some fairly good noise still at the battery terminals. Okay, I will now insert one of the shocks and see what's happening. Okay, so I have now here the two toroid-like shocks in the plus and the minus lead. It's connected, and the scope shot look something like this. I have 24 volts without any ripple, and I have 24 volts without any 25 volts there, without any interference, because the coil is simply not working. And if I touch it normally, I can start it. When am I? I can start it by touching this thing, but there's no reaction, there's no streaming coming out, because my oscillator just won't start oscillating. And that's only because I just added a few shocks in the plus and minus lead. I can also put in the other ones, but it makes no difference. If I remove the one in the plus lead, it starts working again, and I will show you that now. Okay, I've removed the shock from the plus lead. In the minus it's still there, and I touched my my streamer is doing something a little bit, not much, but there it is. And I again have now the oscillating on the screen. So now it's working again. But when I put something in the plus lead, the oscillation stops. Okay, next step will be to put a 0.1 microfarad ceramic capacitor in between to see what's happening then. Okay, I have these little 0.1 microfarad 100 nanofarad capacitors. I put one in between the plus and minus lead, and I have my streamer working, and the scope shot now shows a fairly moderate ripple on the yellow probe that's across the batteries directly, so this has very good effect. The peak to peak is lowered to 2 volts. And I still have a good, the same big ripple on the base of the coil, of course, but that's normal. So I think this is a good method of filtering down the HF on the batteries. I'm still puzzled about why the shocks are not working. or killing the oscillation, but this is better. I have to see if I now can hook up the what is it, the current, to measure the current and the voltage at the same time with this low ripple. Okay, still my 0.1 microfarad capacitor across the minus and the plus. I have still the yellow probe across the batteries, 24 volts. I have in the minus lead, I have the 1 ohm resistor again, measuring the current through it. I have the catcher running, and I now have managed to get this on the screen. What do I have? A yellow probe. I've put both red and yellow probe in the middle again. Also the marker is in the middle. And I have channel 2 is the voltage across the battery. I put it on 100 volt per division, otherwise it will not show the green trace. It's not showing the correct value. It should be 25 volt, but it's fluctuating because of the low 100 ohm voltage per division. It cannot calculate it accurately, I think. The channel 1 is the red probe is across the 1 ohm resistor, so what we are seeing here is the ripple on the for the current being drawn, and it's a peak-to-peak 440 millivolts, which should be 440 milliamps, and it cannot determine the frequency this way. I can put it up one, and then you see the frequency is around 1.39 megahertz. This is because I have now inserted a copper pipe in the coil, so the frequency is lowered. But this way the green trace is out of line again, so I have to put it back. So now I have the multiplication again, the 24 volts on the yellow probe times the 440 millivolts being the amperage, and then this is the power drawn from the batteries, the green trace. And don't ask me how to show the values, because this scope is not able to do so. I think it's only a graphical display of the multiplication. Okay, well, that's I have for tonight. I will start now more focusing on the output of the catcher and not on the input, because this is the best I can have, I guess. Okay, thank you for watching.